What's up guys, welcome back to another video. As you guys saw in the last video, we just got done installing the angle kit, the SLR speed angle kit. So now what we have to do is we have to get the overs installed, kind of clean up the front cuts a little bit from the bumper and the little chin piece that BMW has. But yeah, other than that, I'm gonna pull the wheels off. We're gonna start playing with some trimming, and then we're going to start installing the front kit, or the front overs, sorry, and then we're gonna go to the back. We're gonna cut those, weld, you know, put urethane on it to seal it up. So yeah, other than that, let's get right into it. I'm gonna bring out the angle grinder now. We're gonna start cutting, making sure everything's nice, and we'll actually start laying the overs. So alright, so I ended up going with the Qliq Tuning widebody kit. I actually ended up getting a really good deal on it, so I ended up wanting to just go with this one. But anyways, I'm not sure how wide they are, but when I put them up to the stock fender, it didn't clear much more. But either way, these should be good. So I got front and rear, so we're gonna be installing both front and rear today. I just got done cutting a little bit here, but I have to cut some more, so I'm gonna set the camera up and show you guys where I cut and how I had to cut, and then we'll move over to the rear. So I actually cut the front yesterday because I had to fit the angle kit to take it to go get aligned. So, but I'm gonna get these wheels off, start cutting up here, and then we'll take you guys along with it. Alright, so on the driver's side front fender, I got this corner trimmed as much as I needed to get the wheels not to rub on the angle kit. When I cut this, I used a grinder and I smoothed out all the edges, so it's all buttery smooth right here. And then you want to take some sort of primer or something. Luckily, with the work that I do, I always have primer. I just take a dauber and I'm going to rub it around, that way it doesn't rust. The car's getting painted anyways, but I just would rather not have to take down rust afterwards. A little bit on this, and then we're going to rub it all the way around. Like I said, it's just to stop the rust, so it doesn't have to look pretty because the over fender is going to be over this anyways. I definitely just want to get this protected for rust. I actually have to raise the coil over a little bit because it's just way too low. When we put the kit on, it lowers the car, so we have to raise the coil over just enough. That way it doesn't rub on the over fender itself. So we already finished the other side, but I'm going to show you guys this whole side, and then we're gonna move to the back. But for the back, we still have to cut. So I'm gonna show you guys how to cut for the E36 Sedan wide bodies. We're gonna get the coil over extended, and then we'll install the kit on this side. All right, so we're just lining up the fender right now. Javi's holding that end, I'm holding this end. We're just gonna self-tap it right now, and then we're gonna take it back off and widen the holes for the rib nuts. So yeah, we're gonna put rib nuts, so that way we can just take them on and off with ease. We're gonna put one in the front. You gotta go fast. Okay, so we got one here right above the corner light, and then one right below it, and then we ended up putting 4 across the top on the fender. Right down here we did 1 and 2. So you only mount from 7 spots on the fender. I mean, you could probably do more if you wanted to, but we just did 7. So we're gonna get the wheels on now. We're going to drop the car and test the fitment right here in the corner. So that's our only spot that we're kind of nervous on. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty close. So wheels are pretty close to the fender. Definitely not gonna work for me, so I'm gonna have to probably drop it another inch at least on the coil. Raise it about an inch on the coilover. So we're gonna jack it back up, do that real quick, and then we'll repeat this process. All right, so we got them all adjusted. The fitment's perfect. It's a little gap, but I want that for more function over form. So looks all good. We are going to pull it out and do a U-turn test to make sure there's no rubbing or anything like that in the front. But it came out really good, really even on both sides, down to the exact measurement. So we're gonna pull it out now and see how she goes. so good. I'm so unbelievably excited. The thing looks so good. So the front's all done. The only thing we have to do left on the front actually is just put in the rib nuts, but that's it. Everything just fits so good.
It looks really good. I mean, I already knew what it was gonna look like with my car, but just, I don't know, the mismatching colors and the wheels, and I don't know, it just looks really good. Something about the car just standing like this, man, like.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do a little before and after. So this car is decently clean, especially on the quarters. So I shouldn't be cutting, you know, this clean rear end of this car. However, this thing's a rebuilt title, so it's getting chopped. So we started here just by making marks. So this is where we're gonna cut up at. So just because the wheels are gonna come out a little bit more, we're probably gonna have to trim the bumper a little bit right here, but that's okay. But anyways, yeah, we're gonna get to cutting, and then we are going to film pretty much the whole process. So.
You know, I think that if you never actually tapped that wall at the track, I don't think you would have cut these bumpers. Because you love how clean this car looked. But I think after that happened, you're like, all right, fuck it. Over fenders.
Well, yeah, after I hit the wall, I mean at the drift event, yeah, the front was kind of messed up, but even with stock fenders, I don't think the front wheels would have fit with the angles, so either way, I had to do what I had to do, so. We did not film this process because we're gonna be filming the other side for sure. We just wanted to see how the kit's gonna fit, and we haven't even cut the fenders yet, so I just wanted to show you guys the kit here. Pretty wide, pretty nice, but anyways, so with it being a sedan, we have to deal with this door line here. What we ended up having to do is we ended up having to cut a little bit off this kit, right, or off this part, and then we're going to just sand it and make it even all the way down, so the line's here. So we're gonna make the kit fit, cut everything to get it to fit properly, and then we're gonna pull it back off, and then we're gonna cut the quarters and weld those up and get that going. So we're about, I'd say like 40% done on the driver's side. So we ended up having to cut about 1/4 inch off this because around the gas door, it wouldn't let it sit flush to the body. So we took a little bit off, that way we can get it to go in or fit a little more snugly on the body. But I'm gonna smooth all this out, and that way it sits flush against the quarter panel. All right, so what we had to do, these are a little too wide. So we're cutting a little on this inside out to give it, to go in just a little more to match up with the door a little bit better, so. Yeah, so pretty much we're just gonna push it in so it sits a little more flat because it's gonna line up with the door panel a little better. I think the panel that's on the door.
So originally the kit was meant for
like hot boy, like wide. So we're not going super wide, like we're gonna keep pretty relatively like, so probably about a 17, so well I'm running 17 by 9 plus 32 on these concepts. So I'm gonna keep that same wheel size pretty much. If not, maybe do 20 plus 22 to give it, to match out to the fender. But right now these were like 50 mil. Yeah, so pretty much we're putting the wide body closer to the body instead of having it freaking so far out, like for all the stance boys out there. So here's a little better representation of what we had to do. So we pretty much cut this line right here to get it to fit completely perfect with the wheel arch, or the quarter panel arch.
So it will technically be this wide, but now we can push it in and it will be less wide. So you guys can see how it flexes.
Yep. All right, so we got both panels on the passenger side installed. They're all aligned. As you can see, we got everything in. Just self-tappers for now. Like I said, we're gonna do the rib nuts. Got the gas door all functional. Got it all nice and even. And then now down the side, it all matches perfectly. The fender got pulled in just enough to match the other side completely. So for now, these are all on. Everything went good. It fit pretty well for the most part. There's some spots like right here where we're gonna have to re-fiberglass for sure. But other than that, The kit fit great. I'm pretty pleased with it. We got the front's all finished up like I showed you guys. We're gonna pull these back panels off now, and then we're gonna do the cutting on the rear quarters, and then we're gonna put the rib nuts in there and doing the welding and then the sealing. All right, so for the cut, right here, once we put on the overs, right where it ends is where I'm gonna end the cut. I'm right at the end of that, and I did a pretty decent arch, just enough to get the wheel to be able to, you know, function. So we don't need to go crazy high up here like most people do. So this is what I was talking about this first layer here. So now what we're gonna do is we have to cut the slits right here, and then that's gonna fold it over, and then we just weld to that. But before we do that, I'm gonna cut a little bit off here, and then I'm gonna sand everything down, grind it down, and make it all nice and smooth. So that's gonna be the goal there. Alright guys, so this is the second piece, and this is like the upper, or sorry, this is the first layer, this is the second layer of metal. So I grinded all this down to bare metal, so that way we can fold it up to the first layer, and then weld that, and then that way we could seam seal it. So with the slits, I was able to completely bend them upwards towards the outer layer of the metal. So the inner layer is right up at the outer right here, sorry. So as you can see, they're all the way up to it. You guys cannot laugh at my welds. They're little tacks, but they're not great, but they're not terrible. Now that the tacks are all intact with each flap, these aren't going nowhere. So I'm gonna cut right there, and then we're gonna grind it all down smooth, and then we're gonna put the seam sealer on it. Alright, so now with all the grinding done, you guys are gonna see how this is all flat now. So underneath here, this is actually making perfect contact. So it's pretty much creating a new pinch weld. So that's all connected now. So the only thing we have to do is we're just gonna wipe it, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll put some primer, and then we'll run our sealant. So what I'm gonna be using for sealant is just the windshield glue that we use to replace windshields. So that stuff's really good. So it should fill it all up. So all I'm using is just some alcohol, just to get everything off there, get all the contaminants. That way the primer lays nice, and then we can lay our glue. A nice thick coat on this. All the way up. That way no rust forms underneath this. We want to put it on pretty thick. And we also want to get the inside where we cut. You want to get in there really good because the glue that I'm going to use, it won't stick if this primer's not there. So we really need to make sure we coat this, and we need to get in any cracks if there are any or anything like that. Oh, I actually surprised myself. So I actually did a pretty good job on welding this. So there's not much glue I have to put to seal it because I already welded everything. The metal's already cinched together. So yeah, I'm gonna run the glue and smear it real nice and even, and then let it dry for about an hour. That way you can touch it and it won't make a mess. And then we'll put the quarter panel back on, and then boom, this side's completely done. Gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so now that the glue is all set on this side, all we have to do is just let it dry. I'm gonna give it about an hour, and then we could put the other panel on, and then this whole side's finished. Throw the wheel on, completely do the opposite side, do everything we just did on the opposite side. So once we get done with that, this is all going to be nice and finished. So the over is going to cover all the extra little stuff. So then what we're going to do is we're going to install the riv nuts onto the pre-existing holes that we used with self-tappers. There's the hole, so one hole and then two holes here, and then we have holes pretty much on the doors for the over. So what I'm going to do here is the package for the riv nuts. This is what they look like. Okay, so on the package it says 19/64 drill bit. So we're going to drill all the holes out with this, and then we'll put in the riv nuts. It's kind of like a rivet gun, but it attaches these on the end of this, and then what you do is you just, when you put it in the hole this way and you extend out, what it does is it pretty much crunches this. That way it hits from both sides of the metal. That way you can just put a screw in and out of it. So we'll do one here. Alright guys, so this is what the finished product looks like. The riv nuts are all in on every corner, so got them all in. Just clean up some of the scuffs and stuff like that, but other than that, they all went in really tight. And now what you can do is you can take one of these screws, and then now what happens is when you put the overs on, you could take these bolts in and out as many times as you want. So they just go in and out of it like this. So it's an extremely quick way to get panels on and off, either on the track or at home or anything like that. It just makes everything much easier. So riv nuts are the way to go. Alright guys, so everything's all done. The glue is dry. The fenders are on. So there shouldn't be anything else that we need. So yeah, the car's done. It's on the ground. It's all good to go. It's kind of straightforward, kind of hard, kind of a little mixture of everything, to be honest. But we got it done. It's a very, very long process, but once you do it, that's all you have to do. You have to do it once and that's it. So, but other than that, we'll see you guys here in the morning, and we'll do a full review of the car. So.